What's up, y'all? It's that sports kid here with my 2023 Oklahoma State Cowboys season predictions. Let's get into it. Last year, the Cowboys went 7-6. This year, Las Vegas thinks that they're going to win 6 or 7 games, keep about the same win total, and keep it consistent. A bunch of players return, 7 on offense and 6 on defense, and 2 Cowboys were drafted in the past NFL draft. The past recruiting class ranks in at 44th in the country, and their transfer class comes in at 22nd. Pretty good transfer class. They brought in 22 3-star players. All of their commits in this past class were 3 stars. All these players are going to be freshmen. Their top players they brought in are Zane Flores, plays quarterback and is the #1 player. Well, actually the #2 player. I thought he was #1. #2 player from the state of Nebraska, #1 quarterback, and is a top 30 quarterback in this class. I think he's underrated. I saw a YouTube video about him. Yeah. I'm an Oates. I don't know. He is a JUCO transfer coming in from Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. What a mouthful. He is the 30th best JUCO in the country and the 2nd best JUCO transfer from the state of Oklahoma. Along with him, through the JUCO route comes Lardarius Webb Jr. Wow. Lardarius. What a name. He's a cornerback transferring in from Jones College in Mississippi. He is a top 50 national JUCO transfer, a top 10 JUCO cornerback, and a top 10 JUCO player from Mississippi. Now, the real transfer class was pretty good. 7 players of the 13 will be starters, including the 3 players I put up here. Anthony Goodlow on the defensive edge, transferring in from Tulsa. Then Dazun Stribling, receiver, transferring in from Wazoo. And then we also have Alan Bowman, who is probably going to be the starting quarterback. Let me know in the comments, is Alan Bowman going to start, or is Garrett Rangel going to start? Rangel, I believe, was already on the team. I don't think he transferred it in. Should be a bit of a battle. Let me know down below who's going to start. Bowman transferring in from Michigan, 3-star. Yeah. Now, my personal ratings for Oklahoma State are quite low. These are how I think both sides of the ball are going to do out of 10. And they're pretty low. Nothing super special on this team. I'm going to say 5.5 is my offensive rating. We do have the quarterback battle. The running back unit is not going to be as good as they were last year. Their receivers are fine. Their offensive line has a lot of career starts, which is good. The D-line should improve. Linebackers are going to be more experienced. The secondary is more experienced, so more experience, but none of it is super great. Defense gets a 5 out of 10, average. Already scared off all the Oklahoma State fans. Anyway, schedule difficulty is a C. It is not great, but that is good because their team is also not great. So by having a bad schedule, they even it out a little bit, and it gives them a chance. First team on the schedule is Central Arkansas, one of my favorite logos in FCS. It should be a big win for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. FCS school coming in to Stillwater. Should be a blowout in Game 1. Now, in Game 2, we have the Arizona State Sun Devils. This is a home and home. Last year, it was on the road, and the Cowboys won that one pretty solidly. I think they should be able to do that again this year on the road. Arizona State was dreadful last year, and I don't think they're going to improve too much this year. Probably not going to be bowl eligible. One of those losses will come from the Oklahoma State game. Next up, we have South Alabama. South Alabama is a little bit of a sneaky team. They were quite good last year, 10-3, I want to say, in the Sun Belt. I think they were supposed to compete for the title. Maybe they did. Either way, they were pretty good, and I think they could keep this game a little bit closer. Even though it's in Stillwater, and this is sort of a show up, take your money, and head out game. Take the loss for South Alabama, but I think they could actually keep it a bit closer. Next up, we head into Big 12 Conference play. On the road, in the first game against the Iowa State Cyclones, should be sort of a toss-up. Excuse me. Should be sort of a toss-up. Iowa State is not going to be fantastic. They weren't great last year, didn't go to a bowl game, and I don't know if they're going to make it this year. Because it's on the road, I'm going to say it's a toss-up. If it was at home for Oklahoma State, it could probably be in the close win category with Jaguars and the Sun Devils. Next up, we have the reigning Big 12 champions, the Kansas State Wildcats. The Wildcats are biting and fighting for another Big 12 championship. They have the talent. They have the team that they can do it with, and they could. Sadly for the Cowboys, I think they're gonna drop this game to the Wildcats. Last year, yikes, that was a bad one last year against Kansas State. It was a fat 48-0 loss, and they were favored, I believe, by at least 1 point. No, they were, Kansas State was favored by 1 point, and they took the over in that one. Kansas is the next team on the schedule. Another home game back-to-back weeks against the Kansas schools. I'm going to say it'll be a close win. Kansas might regress a little bit, or they might stay consistent with how they did last year. Started the season very strong, won I think 6 games in a row, and then they lost the rest. I think Oklahoma State, this is the first 6 games for Kansas, I believe. But I think Oklahoma State should win that one at home. Next up, we have good old West Virginia. I'll say it's a bit of a toss-up. They aren't very good. Might be even dead last in the conference. But I think it's on the road, traveling a lot. The Mountaineers could keep it close. They could keep it close. Another game, I could probably say if it was at home, it would be a close win. But because it's on the road, I'm putting it in the toss-up category. Next up, we have Cincinnati, one of the 4 new Big 12 schools. If you take a look at the rest of the schedule, we see Cincinnati, Oklahoma, UCF, Houston, and BYU. Oklahoma is the only one of those 4 schools that is not new to the Big 12 this year. Oklahoma State completely lucked out and drew all 4. I don't know how the scheduling is done, if it was like drawn or if it's a rotation, but they completely lucked out and got all 4 of the Big 12 newcomers, and they're playing all of them near the end of the season. The first game against them is against the Cincinnati Bearcats. This is a home game, and I think Oklahoma should win that one. Oklahoma State should win that one. Cincy is probably going to struggle a good bit getting settled in their new conference, and Oklahoma State is probably going to give them a loss on the road. Next up, we have good old OU. Bedlam is a lot earlier in the season than I thought it would be. It's usually hanging around the end. I guess in 2020 it was 4 games left. Usually in the last 4. But I would put it always at the end of the season. But whatever. I'm going to say it's a close loss. At home, it gives them a pretty good advantage. But OU overall, honestly a better team this season. And I I think the Sooners should probably get it done in this game. I could totally see State keeping it close. I really could. Because of the rivalry, anything can happen. But on paper, right now, I'm going to say OU's the better team, and they're going to win. Final 3 games, all 3 teams are new to the conference. We start out with UCF on the road. Probably going to be a little bit closer than you'd like. Another road game. Pretty good environment in Orlando where UCF plays. And I also believe UCF is the best of the 4 new teams in the conference. And they might actually be able to compete and be middle of the pack by the end of the season in the conference standings. Sort of a toss-up. I could see Oklahoma State winning that one. Another game. All these games in the toss-up category pretty much right now are, if they're at home, I see them winning, but because they're on the road, it's sort of a toss-up. UCF, nothing too crazy going on their team, and sort of mid. Next team is Houston on the road. Houston's shaping up to be one of the worst teams in the Big 12. Really sad about it. Cougs are my Big 12 team. I'm pulling for a Cougar win, but on paper right now, I'm saying Oklahoma State wins pretty solidly, heading down to Houston. They probably take that victory. Finally, we have BYU. This is a home game for State. I'm not a Oklahoma State fan. I don't really know. Is like State an appropriate name? Whatever. I don't care. I'm gonna say State whenever I want. BYU, last team on the schedule. I'm gonna say it'll be a close win because it's a home game, and BYU is also a new team to the conference. They're still adjusting. Because of all those things, because of the insane luck of their schedule, I am gonna say State, even with this incredibly mid team, goes 8-4. Get that win over Central Arkansas, then they get 6 wins over these teams. Could see at least one upset in there. Then I think they get at least 1 win against these teams in the toss-up category, or potentially an upset against a team in the close loss category. But I think they maybe probably beat West Virginia. I think they beat West Virginia and maybe Iowa State. Maybe they drop one of the close wins. But in the end, I think Oklahoma State goes 8-4 on paper right now, before the season starts. I think they should improve from last season, even though it's nothing too special. If you disagree, let me know. Why? Why do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. What do you think about the Cowboys this season? How are they going to stand in the conference? Are they a sneaky conference championship team? I don't think so, but convince me why in the comments. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. I'm that sports kid, and until the next one, peace.